Sigma has just announced an exciting new prime lens today, the 85mm f1.4 DG-DN art lens. It's available for Leica L mount or Sony E mount, and I have been lucky to have been using it for the last week. And as an 85mm prime lens is classically known as a portrait lens, that's just what I did. Portraits, lots of them, both simple and more creative. I used Raymond as a model. Raymond helped me use me as a model. In this video, I will share photos and my thoughts on the lens. Full disclosure here, I love prime lenses. I love them for their clarity. I love them for their size relative to zoom lenses. I love that they often open up to very wide apertures so that I can create whatever depth of field effect I want. I love the L mount alliance, where companies are working together to improve our options so that we can create our art in our own way. The version of the lens that I was fortunate to try is the Sony E mount version, and I used it on my trusty Sony Alpha 7 R4. Art lenses are Sigma's top image quality lenses. The image comes first, then they do what they can to keep the lens to a reasonable size and weight. Every art lens that I have used has been a top performer, but the DG-DN line of lenses is the next generation of art lenses. They are designed specifically for mirrorless cameras, which allows Sigma to do certain things, like creating a smaller and lighter weight lens, which we see here with the 85mm. This lens is just over an inch shorter and more than a pound lighter than Sigma's previous version of the 85mm f1.4 art lens. Over the period of an hours-long portrait shoot, that kind of weight reduction makes a difference. So kudos to Sigma for putting this no compromise f1.4 portrait lens into a size that I would expect to find in an f1.8 lens. And when I say no compromise, I do mean image quality, but I also mean build quality. It is a solid lens. It is dust and splash proof, and there's a really nice hood on the art lenses. It has a button and it clicks into place. There's no question if it's secure or of accidentally bumping it off while your camera's around your neck and you're adjusting your lighting during a shoot. They also come in a nice zippered case, which makes storage and travel just a little bit easier. These touches are not inconsequential to me. They add up to a nice package overall. Also, this and the other DG-DN lenses use a stepping motor, and they are quick and all but silent. I do enjoy that for still photography, but video is where the silence really comes into play. I don't have to worry about lens noise in my audio. I'll get back to the lens itself in just a minute, but now let's jump into the image quality. No surprise, art lens quality here. The bokeh is very smooth and keeps highlights and shadows in check. No harsh transitions, and it handled light to dark transitions in the background lighting with grace and style. Likewise, the in-focus areas are as sharp as you would expect for a prime lens. It is quite sharp across the frame, even at f1.4, with a crisp softness in the transition to the out-of-focus areas. As for the overall effect, some would call it micro contrast. I tend to call it the Leica look, which to me means that it's sharp, but very natural with light rendering, the way that I see it in real life with my eyes, not in ways that I feel that a computer would visualize the light. It's tough to explain, but I definitely know it when I see it. For those of you that love an aperture ring, this lens has one. It has an A setting for when you want to use the command dials on your camera to adjust the aperture, but you can discreetly choose your aperture. And there are ways that you can customize how that ring works. You can lock it in A or out of A. I really like this because I don't have to worry about bumping the ring out of A, or if I am choosing my aperture on the ring, I don't have to worry about clicking into A. I don't have to look at my lens and break my flow when I'm in the zone. It is also helpful that you can choose to have the iris ring click or declick, meaning that it clicks into each aperture setting or it turns smoothly. Those things, as well as the programmable button on the lens, makes this ideal for professional work, or really anyone that wants to really customize and get to know their gear so that they can use it with muscle memory. Also, for those of you that like to focus manually, the focus ring on the lens is beefy and it has bite, meaning that it isn't really easy to turn. You have to intentionally turn it, which makes your focusing more deliberate and precise. And that seems like the core philosophy with these art lenses: precision. And I did say that I did a lot of portraits with this lens, but I didn't keep it to close-up head and shoulders portraits that you might imagine with an 85mm lens. If you have enough room, you can even do full-length portraits like this. And of course, everything in between. You can certainly use it for other types of photography as well. I used it for some product photography for a future review video. Now, I don't have the Sony 85mm f1.4 G Master lens here right now, but I did use it a while back. It is also a very good lens, but it is bigger, heavier, and quite a bit more expensive. The Sigma here debuts at $1,199 in the US, while the Sony is currently listed for $1,799.99. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that Sony lens. I achieved very good results from it, but for my money, I would go with the Sigma. I'll link to the lens in the description so that you can check out the exact pricing and availability in your area. The lens is anticipated to start shipping later this month, so you won't have to wait long if this sounds like a lens that you need in your collection. Thank you to Sigma for allowing me to borrow this lens. It is amazing. I want it. I just need to decide if I want the E-mount version or the L-mount version. While I make that very difficult decision, make sure that you are subscribed because I share videos about photography-related topics every week. You may have seen the photo of the Sigma FP a few moments ago. I actually also borrowed that, along with Sigma's new 100 to 400mm contemporary lens and a few other lenses. And I'll be running around with that little gem for a few weeks. In fact, I shared a video earlier this week with a few of my first photos and all of the lenses and accessories that I have with it. I'll add a link to that in the description as well. Before you go check that out though, drop me a line in the comments. Do you shoot portraits? What's your favorite lens to use? There's certainly no one right way to capture photos of people. Do you use a prime, a zoom? What focal length? I always like to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching.